Hey there! Welcome to lesson number 2 of this year's big project. Do you know what this is? This is an ear of wheat. Wheat is where flour comes from. Flour is what we use to make bread and cakes, so it's pretty important. Wheat is usually grown in big fields that look like this. They don't grow very much wheat in New Mexico, but in other parts of our country, and in other countries all around the world, they grow a lot of wheat. One place nobody would ever grow wheat is in the middle of New York City. There is no good reason to grow wheat surrounded by all these tall buildings. That would be crazy. Nobody would do that. Or would they? This is an artist named Agnes and she decided to do exactly this crazy thing. She grew a wheat field in the middle of New York City on a piece of land where they hadn't built any buildings yet. It was a place where there used to be water, but the city had been dumping dirt there for years and years, and nobody had built anything there yet. So she planted a field of wheat. Pretty crazy. Pretty cool. It's time to learn a new word. This word is juxtaposition. Everyone say juxtaposition. It's kind of tricky. Everyone say it again. Juxtaposition. Much better. A juxtaposition is when you put two things together to make some kind of cool effect. In this image, an artist has put the sun and moon together into one object. This is a pretty cool juxtaposition. It's one face made out of two faces. Here is another interesting juxtaposition where an artist took a photograph of a kid and a photograph of a city and put them together so it looks like the kid is a giant. Agnes made an interesting juxtaposition when she planted a wheat field in the middle of New York City. But now we have to talk about the second word. The second word is incongruous. Everyone say incongruous. Not bad, not bad. One more time. Incongruous. Yes. Things are incongruous when they don't go together, or we think they shouldn't. Here are 2 scoops of ice cream topped with a pickle. This is a pretty incongruous pairing. We don't really think of ice cream and pickles going together very well. This image is incongruous too. Here we have a grown-up dressed like a baby. Agnes wheat field is both an example of a juxtaposition and of something incongruous. It's interesting that she planted a wheat field in a big city, and it's even more interesting because it's so unexpected. Nobody walking through New York City would expect to turn the corner and see a field of wheat. This is Walter de Maria. He's another artist who loved to do incongruous juxtapositions. Try saying that, incongruous juxtapositions. This is a sculpture called Earth Room, which he made in New York City. It is a room in an art gallery filled almost to the windows with soil. That is certainly not something people think they're going to see when they go to a gallery to look at paintings or statues. I bet it smelled great. And here's another incongruous juxtaposition. It looks like this giant clothespin has pinched the ground in a park. What makes this so incongruous is how gigantic the clothespin is. So for this part of the big project, we're going to make an incongruous juxtaposition of our own. We're going to plant some grass. We're going to plant a whole lawn of grass with some wildflowers in it. And we're going to do it here. Do you recognize this? Yep, it's the hallway upstairs at our school. This is where we're going to plant our lawn. But we're not going to try to dig up the floor and put grass on it. We're going to plant our lawn in a bunch of plastic trays and put the trays so close together that it looks like we've planted one big lawn. Hopefully there'll be enough sunlight coming through this fantastic big window here in the morning to keep our grass happy. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, so this is the tray that we're going to plant all the grass in. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill the tray with soil, and then you're going to sprinkle the grass seed on top of the soil, and then you're going to sprinkle a little bit more soil on top of it so that the grass seed is covered just a little bit. And then we'll water it, and you will have to water it each day until the grass starts sprouting. And then we'll be able to water it just every few days. We'll see how it goes. And so I'm going to show you how to do all this. Now, your teacher is going to be the one who decides what group you work in and which part of the room you guys work in, and whether you're all doing it at the same time or whether you're doing it one team at a time or however. All that's up to your teacher. I'm just showing you how to do the planting. So here we go. The first thing we want to do is we want to put soil in the tray. We do not want to go all the way to the top of the tray. We're going to go to right about a little more than halfway up the tray. So here we go. Okay, so I filled the tray with soil, and you can see I didn't go all the way to the top. We don't have enough soil to go to that, and it will make the tray quite heavy. We don't need that much soil. When the grass grows tall enough, it'll get up to like this high. And also, we need to save a little room for a little bit more soil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the grass seed on, and you only need, I have here just a little more than half a cup. That's all you need. And I'm going to try to sprinkle it on here as evenly as possible. If you mess up, it's okay to pick up some grass seed and move it to another spot. But you want to get it pretty even so we don't have like a gap where there's not any grass. Okay, so I put the grass on there, and one thing I noticed while I was doing it is it was easy to forget to go all the way to the edge. And we want to make sure we have seed all the way at the edge, otherwise this plastic edge will show up between the grass. So I'm just going to pick up some of the seed in these crowded places and just kind of move it over here to the edge. You could also just like push it around with your fingers a bit to try to smooth it out a bit, like that. And just make sure it goes all the way to the edge of the tray. If you have places where it's really full like this, you can sort of push it out so not all the grass is right next to each other. You can notice some of these places are starting to look empty, not because there's no seed, it's because I've been moving my fingers around and I've covered it up. So don't get tricked by that. Once you start touching it, some of the seed will get buried, but it doesn't mean you need more seed. It's okay. Alright, so now that I've gotten like here, where I've got the seed pretty nice and spread out, I'm going to put one more thin layer of soil on top. Okay, now that I have it like that, I'm just going to kind of push down, get a little packing. And what we're doing here is we're making it so that when we water it, it doesn't, the seed doesn't all float up to the top. So by pushing it down a little bit, packing it a little bit, it kind of buries the seed so that if we, as we're watering it, all the seed doesn't float up to the top. And it would make it a little harder for it to grow. Okay, so there we go. Now that we have it like this, we're going to use our watering cans to water it. And we want to water it so the top stays wet for a few days until we see the grass coming up. And once the grass starts coming up, we don't have to water it every day. We can water it just every few days. So that's what you're going to do today, or whenever your teacher says you're going to do it. It might not be today, but that's what you're going to do. You're going to be planting the grass and wildflower. There is wildflower seeds in it too. I mixed them in there into this tray so that we're ready to start growing our lawns. We'll keep these in our classrooms until the grass is really growing, and then we'll move them out into the hall. I'm hoping that when we put them all close together and the grass gets really tall, it will look like one big lawn. It should be an excellent incongruous juxtaposition. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.